Should we start?
So.
Did you think about God when you were little?
Oh, I guess so.
Think about.
I don't know, it's hard to say. Because when you're little, you hear about God from older people usually, who go to church and so on. So, for sure, there was an idea, or my interpretation of this idea. But independently, not really think about God independently on my own terms.
Did you think about magic? Because that's something maybe closer to a child in this context, with like Disney movies or story fairy tales that are being told to us.
I thought, but how little? Because, for example, 12 years old and so on, I believed in Satanas, and I was talking, it's true, don't laugh.
Okay.
So it could be God too. It's just like a name for an image of God that I thought was speaking to me, and I decided to call it Lucifer and Satanas.
So it spoke to you?
Yeah, I was making deals with Satanas when I was young teenager, but that's not a child, of course. You asked as a child.
That's interesting though.
And he was helping me make good.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's God, but I didn't have a word for it. I just called it Satanas because it was cooler.
To me, everything is God, so
it's just
makes
other,
sense.
something
exactly.
other. Yeah. Lucifer. And you?
What's the question?
If you thought
Yes, I did. Yeah,
in
I was definitely very connected to magic, to what I call magic, to knowing, to understanding that there are a lot of things that we don't understand, and that things are not what they seem.
But how little are you talking about?
I mean, as little as I can remember.
Okay.
And I would actually talk to God, or to, I would talk to God. I would ask different things. At many points I would ask to not wake up on the next morning because I was so sad. But other times I would be like, oh, I don't want like my grandparents to die, or
Yeah, wishes. Yeah, I also
wishing,
did that.
exactly.
I also wished things to somebody.
Exactly. Do you do that now?
Less, I think. Or if I do it, then I'm more conscious about what I'm doing, so maybe I don't do it so much, maybe because I'm conscious of that. A bit, not so much, not really, no.
I have a daily practice
Of wishing things.
of praying. Yeah. Like constant conversation, constant conversation with God. I try to have. I try to. At first, it was kind of a conscious decision. Like, I want to, or I think it will be good for me to try and have an inner or outer when I'm able to have a conversation. But then it became just a habit.
But so praying one thing, and the other thing is to ask for, like, to express a wish, for it to become true. In praying, I think I don't do it so much because very often then I stop myself when I'm getting into this way of thinking, like praying, wishing for something, because then I think, okay, if it doesn't turn out to be this way or that way, then actually it's maybe better so.
Exactly.
So like it's this Chinese saying, like
we don't know.
Yeah.
What's best. Yeah. Yeah. My
be
wishing
careful
is
with what you wish, no?
exactly. My wish is never about external things, although that's like also an impulse that I had for many years. Like for me, praying is more like asking for the guidance to be changed myself, so that things can be better. But I'm also very careful not to ask like, I want this external thing. I never ask that, you know. Like my wish is like,
it's for yourself maybe then.
it's like, help me understand what you're trying to tell me, you know, like help me surrender, help me, you know, like for me it's very much an like the prayer is for oneself, it's for to be able to change oneself more than, that's how I understand it. But of course, yeah, because we were as a child it was different,
yeah. So I think that God in the end, you need to feel it. You need to, feel the presence of something. More than know it, or it's like a feeling somehow, a sensation.
Yeah, totally. And when do you feel it the most?
When creating art.
When you're composing or when you're
creating something
painting?
New. Yeah, both.
Creating in general.
Yeah, it depends on the moment, but or experiencing somebody else's work. But it doesn't have necessarily to be art, or it could be something that has more like a function, like an object, but there is something more there. A beautiful window, or there is something that is moving me, at least, and it's hard to explain why. It's like this thing that is escaping all explanation, this like transcendental
comprehension.
And you can try to analyze it or to know and then to find out, and it's interesting to do that. So so I did this project on Messiaen's music.
I remember.
And I think it fits very well in this idea of, okay, he was Catholic and he was writing to serve Catholic beliefs, also very specific, but it was more than that, so that was not so the most interesting part of it. It's like I actually felt there is something there that is proving the existence of God, beyond analysis of the topics and the theory behind it. And I think, by the way, it's something that AI will never be able to do.
Like for me, it's clearly an experience that then we can try to conceptualize, so we can try to like fit into our thinking, but and into words and into, but it's all pointing to the thing that is completely unknown, untouchable, and unthinkable from this plane, at least. But for me, it's definitely something very, very important, and the more time passes, the more I realize it's super important for me to understand, to help my whole system by also making it into a mind matter, into something able to understand within knowing its limits, within knowing that it has to be secondary to the experience, and it will always be anyway. But it's also something I struggle with. Like I'm finding this balance between, we have a mind, I have a rational need for some reason as well as I have a need for food, and I think it's not our primary source of energy. Like for me, it's a spiritual energy that then it's translated into other things, and the spiritual seeking, I'm seeking for God, I'm not seeking for food, but we still need to eat food, kind of thing. So I think I still need to use my mind, and I have a big want to use it and to understand rationally, and that's also something dangerous in a sense for me, because it's hard to find the balance between wanting to know and knowing that we will never know what I'm seeking for, because what I'm seeking for is not knowable conceptually.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like in your most, let's say, enlightened moment in the creative process, how do you experience yourself? More as a medium, or as a, like maybe purely as a creator, or so actually I answer my question first. So I think what I experience very often, just to give an example, is that I'm in awe of what already exists. So it's like I'm discovering something that was already there and I just noticed. So yeah, that was
there inwardly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, whoa, I just got to this landscape inward, somewhere inside. I just found something beautiful.
That was already there, but you didn't know, or how?
Exactly. I mean, of course it was already there, because where was, like... Yeah, again, it's really hard to describe the experience with words, but I definitely, also in a general sense, I had this NDE where, again, it became the clearest it's ever been of my purpose in this world, in this incarnation, as a messenger. My desire is to keep moving inward and outwardly, and because it's easy for me also to do so, to go very deep, and also to have the desire to express it outwards. And I think artists are messengers from something.
Yeah, but I think the question is interesting because some people, I think, they have a stronger sense of that the work belongs them and only them, and then other people have the sense, they just they just facilitated the birth of this work. It's just a way of thinking, maybe. In the end, we are all vessels and mediums.
Yeah, exactly.
But some people have an attitude like, no, it's my work, and
and I always think, exactly, that everyone's function is to be a messenger, but from different parts of that inner realm or whatever. But I think before my spiritual awakening, I wouldn't have said that I was a messenger. I wouldn't understand myself as a messenger. And I also think that it must be also by observing other people beyond artists, that it must be something that is better suited for some souls than others. So in a way, although I tend to think that everyone's a messenger, it must be that some people are better at being a function of whatever,
But in a way, anything could be a work of art, or like the work of a cook. They can also be inspired and create a dish, and that's also a way of being. I don't know if you see it like this, but it's also like a way of being. I don't know to say artist, but to be a messenger.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I think it is the function of the human to express what it is, and to I understand myself as a soul. What do you understand yourself as? Like for me, so maybe it's easier in contrast. So for me, for example, I think there's our true nature is not material, but also that it is subjective, so that there is a unique soul that we are, that of course can be developed and should be developed, and that is actually brought into this world, or we are coming into this world to develop it further, refine it further, make it grow, specify it, find it, but that it's not like we die and we merge into this massive blob of consciousness with the one, and it just pure bliss, no separation. Like for me, you know what I mean? There is a true nature beyond the physical, but it's definitely unique.
Yes, I also see myself as a soul. I would have said, if I didn't hear you say soul, I would have said like a force.
Yeah, an energy, something.
Yeah.
You know?
But of course, I cannot avoid thinking that it is very related to our physical realm, and that even though our souls are unique, they are not only made inside, but also, yeah, it's like the genotype and the phenotype. Like in genetics, there is the things about us that come with our DNA, and the things about us that develop because of the surroundings.
Yeah,
and in this case, in the soul, I think there must be something also about, like which body is this soul occupying?
Yeah.
How is the body treated? How do we treat our body? How
Totally.
how do others talk to us, and so on?
Exactly.
So it's more of the first one, like the unique soul, but I think there is always an aspect of how it is then being deformed from the outside, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that for me, the work is in finding the soul independent or using these conditionings to even finding it deeper and letting go everything that is not us, that is either conditioned by family, conditioned by society, conditioned by our own fears, because
and that's your trip that you've been.
My trip is the deepest I've been into seeing my own soul in its pure state. Yeah, exactly. And then it helps me because no matter the environment or no matter the fears that I still have as an ego, there's something very strong that I found that is unmovable every time more. So to me, but also, to me it's there's something also so clear in the fact that we're speaking about inspiration and finding stuff from where, like it's for me it's a natural question that comes after having realized that we go to these places inwardly, or they arrive to us, we don't know from where, it's not clear, or so for me it's a natural question to say, okay, so what's happening here,
It is revelation in the end.
Exactly. It's revelation of these other realities that we're not talking about.
Yes.
That are not part of the conventional, at least, in normal spaces.
Yes.
And to me that blows my mind, because I've had strange feelings since I'm very little, and it's like a normal contact with it without having, I didn't, and now I do, and I'm developing more words, but I didn't have these words or these...
Yeah, I think that's one I was going to say, the verbal aspect.
Yeah.
We're quite limited, I mean, not everyone, like, not you, but I am limited in...
We are,
But I just meant, like, in general, to have conversations about this, it's difficult. We don't grow in a culture that is in touch with those things. So, for example, I think, like, older traditions, where religion, in the sense of an institution or a dogma or a club of people that share... not club, got this word. But that they share the readings of books, and the books talk about this, so unfortunately in this case maybe they are more related to the institutional aspect, but maybe they have the...
I think both things.
It's a bit easier for them to open up on this level, and for our generation, or for my generation, I think it's much harder. So it could be interesting to see if these younger generations that rediscover already existing religions and writings, if they might develop ways of talking about things that are not related to like Christianism or...
Yeah, I think so every time more.
Yes.
For sure, for sure. I mean, with the New Age movement, I guess that did come
also,
also after you.
Because I think in my generation and a bit older, there is still a lot of rejection and anger with institutions.
Yeah.
And there should be. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
And criticism. But I think we did lose the ability to talk about magic together with that.
Yeah. To accept it as a part of existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure if that's improving now that also institutional religions are more in, or people like following religions are kind of in the rise. Because I almost think that one cancels the other, although it should have been a medium for that magic.
Yeah.
You know, a way to understand this magic, to understand each other and everything. The moment you're not listening to yourself, to God directly, and you are needing a security zone, a comfort zone, given by other people telling you what's good and what's wrong, to me it's kind of contradictory to God itself to follow dogma, of course, and that's what religion is. Although I love to use religious language because it's useful in the sense that, I mean, to me the language is not religious itself, it means different things to different people. To me soul means something different than to a Christian, because but I'm obsessed with the afterlife. I'm obsessed with this topic because of my experience of realizing that death does not exist as we understand it, as I understood it. Suddenly I started having hope. I mean, not hope, just clear faith, knowing that. But also, then this door was opened to this much deeper reality than I thought of how is the afterlife like structured, how does it work, why everyone that has had an NDE experiences the same feelings, the same, for example, the experience of deep, profound, unspeakable love for everything and towards you as well, and of bliss, of pleasure, you know. For example, this is common in most NDEs, but the way in which it is experienced is completely different. And the same with the light or God, you know, is mostly a light, but it can also be experienced. Religious people experience it as seeing Jesus or as seeing like maybe someone else can see Buddha or whatever. And it's funny because I think that's also how things work inside this world. That for you feeling connected, feeling love is doing something, and for me feeling love, feeling connected is doing something else. What mattered is to feel that love. And the ways in which we do it are unimportant compared to the function of what we're doing, the meaning of what is happening, which is connection, which is love. And so to me, everything that we live here is a metaphor or a representation of other things. So understanding this, we can understand also anyway. But so I'm doing like all these maps of the afterlife and possible.
I just remembered something when you were saying about the NDE experience, that a lot of the time it comes together with a feeling of full love and bliss. that, well, it's not NDE, but maybe it's interesting to just a question what you think about that. That I read some, or I know 2 cases that were in prison, like not political prisoners, but because of politics, they were not politicians, but
Okay.
For many years in prison, and they experienced this in prison, in devastation, and they couldn't do anything really there.
They experienced what?
Love, and they thought, I will not say names now, but so these cases, they explained this experience of full love, and in the moment when they were losing the love, they were also somehow losing their case of being in prison for what they believe. So they were in prison for their beliefs, and
At the same time.
know that their way of staying strong
Yeah.
inside prison
Uh-huh.
was by, or not, that they felt this full love, and if they would be losing this sense of love for the world and belief in the world, they were also losing
Losing it.
themselves, losing their life in prison.
That's very interesting because
The Viktor Frank also
does
in
he
that book talks about that similar thing. I just remembered. I was not talking about him, but I just remembered.
You're saying changing reality by changing
Yeah.
your state of mind, right?
Mm.
I mean, I think that at the core, that is
Yeah.
my whole philosophy, that the
Yeah.
only way
Yeah.
if we can change reality is by changing ourselves inside, but in such a direct
Yeah.
manner to affect events externally, this kind of manifestation.
Mhm.
I think very few very spiritually connected people could influence reality in such a way.
Mm.
But I totally believe what you're saying of
Mm.
this case, because
But in a way, it is near-death experience. This experience,
Yeah, I
like
mean-
Viktor Frankl. Or
yeah, to me a mystical experience
Mm.
is a near-death experience in the sense of what we understand death, because the barriers between death and life
Mm.
are totally, the door is open. And in the case of Viktor Frankl and the concentration camps and everything, as many things do, pain can open also a big door to understanding reality. And after opening this canal even wider, I've been very vulnerable to also being swept away by the other energy, the contrary to love.
Which
Fear.
is okay.
Fear, to me, fear is kind of the root, but again, it's a word, so I would understand it more as a contraction or darkness. Or have you been, like for me, for example, when I was dealing for so many years with addiction and eating disorder and addictive behavior, and I self-harmed, and I was in my experience, and that to me also it was one of the clearest experiences of the spiritual world, one of the conscious experiences of things going beyond what we see in this short life, was realizing that in my darkest moments I was taken by something else that wasn't me. I didn't, and in that moment it was unexplainable what I was living, and it is unexplainable when I'm living very painful experiences. It is magic, it's completely out of,
Wow.
and also in a specific way. Like, I remember the last time I self-harmed, I explicitly felt some other force was taking control of me.
A dark force or a good force now?
No, a dark force. A dark force. Which at the end of the day, it is a good force in its intention. It's just brutal. It's wanting, to me, it's wanting to wake people up. the dark force. It's just like, there's a Kabbalist saying of, I think, of God tries to send a message, but when someone is not listening, Satan is like, should I go now? Is it like, and he's like, let's wait a little bit, and then God maybe tries another way, and then if people are not, have you felt taken by dark forces anytime? Consciously, at least?
I mean, I was making deals with Satan, but I don't know if that counts as a dark force.
But did he...
But it was not really good, because I was then waking up at 5 and not sleeping to like study or to work. So I was like consuming myself. So I would say it is kind of a dark force, but there was.
But what was the purpose of that
again,
relationship?
exactly that. Well, the purpose or the goal of me getting up at 5 or.
Yeah.
Yeah, in theory, I considered it like a good purpose or.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I had these experiences you're describing. No, I don't think so.
But
no.
Are you conscious when you have self-destructive habits or actions, or?
Yeah, but I don't think it's so extreme as yours.
You want to finish the whole chocolate, for example. That is a self-destructive.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. Right? That I would just say stuff that sounds ridiculous.
Okay.
To things that have like risks of bigger consequence.
And why do you think that is?
That I didn't have such an experience.
Yeah, or why some people, why we do, or because we lived in the same family.
Family topic.
I mean, we had the same parents. We had a very similar childhood.
We have very different souls. It all comes from that in the end, I think. Even if we have the same parents, anyway, they're not the same because they're different over time.
And they're different with different people.
Exactly. So not only people change over time, but they also change together with the chemistry of the souls between. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly true that we have the same family, like we do, but we don't.
Yeah, but we've completely different experience.
So actually we do.
Of the same family, yeah.
But we share it, just that it's very different.
Yeah. What do you think?
About what?
About our family.
I like our family. Because I think that everyone is very different, and I think that everybody can remain different and can express like anger or rage or sadness or when these differences come to like in concurrence or then it's something good. Nothing in our family there is a little bit of that or enough. I think if there was less it would not be good. If there would be more it could be exhausting. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of freedom within it, and therefore wisdom. There's a lot of that our parents have kind of fertilized, or like put the the seed, or like they created the first part of the container so that this could happen. And I think that's very special. It's not easily found, observing the world, but I think some emotions or some experiences were more accepted than others. So rage and laughter and anger and was accepted, known, and loved, therefore. but I don't think we had the tools for understanding the depths of my own experience, for example, of sadness, or of loneliness, or of...
Or didn't want to.
Exactly.
Because it's scary too for parents.
Yeah, I mean, to me... Yeah, to me it's fear, but if they knew the suffering that I was in, it's not that they wouldn't have wanted, you know, or you as siblings that wouldn't have wanted. It's more a capability for facing the fear, because I think there is a lot of love, you know, I think that's at the base of everything. So I think it's not so much like, oh, I don't feel like looking at this darkness. It's more like, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have the language myself.
That's what I meant by not wanting or...
Because as you said, like, you don't have the experience, for example, of being taken by such dark forces. And when and then how can you... It's very hard to understand when you don't. So like my experience is of, on one side, being in contact with this root of love and freedom in our family, and passion, you know, and then on the other side, also being very deeply in contact with the fact that I was very, 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 very different. And that's how I still feel. In the world I haven't found such...
But I also felt very, very different.
But horrifyingly different, I mean. Like, sufferingly different. Després tallarem.
Vale. Estic molt fort.
Contesta...
no me parla de Déu?
Contesta en azteca.
So, Mama, why... I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why... Okay. Why didn't you speak about God with us when we were children?
No entenc per què pressuposes que no us vaig parlar de Déu. Perquè jo crec que us vaig parlar molt de Déu. Molt de Déu. El que passa és que sí que potser no vaig fer servir aquesta paraula, perquè jo a aquesta paraula li tinc una mica d'angúnia. Però totes les mil i una històries que us he explicat sempre, des de ben petites, moltes històries d'una mitologia d'aquí, d'una mitologia d'allà, d'una religió d'aquí, d'una religió d'allà, d'altres que m'inventava, les aventures d'Ulisses, la teta voladora, tota aquesta imaginació, i després l'estimació envers determinat tipus de coses de l'univers i la creació era la meva manera de parlar-vos de Déu. Però sí que és veritat que d'un Déu en concret, el Déu de la religió tal, el Déu de la religió qual, no, crec que no, però bé de saber igual sí, i no me'n recordo.
Very interesting. Per mi té molt de sentit el que dius, perquè Déu és tot, i per tant, com que tu has parlat de Déu. Més enllà de tot això que tu estàs parlant, que és molt específic, i amb el que també jo mateixa ressono de que, bueno, la mitologia, vull dir, tot això per mi és com, és la panxa de Déu, o sigui, les històries, la imaginació en si, és un medi molt proper, molt a prop de l'escalfor de Déu, vull dir, més que
els dogmes, no?
Més que els dogmes
d'una religió concreta.
I més que les paraules. I més que les paraules, entenent la mitologia com una construcció de paraules o d'històries que apunten a un lloc molt més profund.
I a més pensa que quan éreu petits, a l'escola pública es podia escollir o la classe de religió o una altra... Quan uns anaven a fer religió, els altres era ciutadania o qualsevol invent per tenir-vos entretinguts. I vam decidir que coneixent com coneixíem, a més, a la mestra que ho feia, que ens estimàvem més per la vostra formació anar a classe de religió. Perquè totes les històries, per exemple, de la Bíblia que us explicava la mestra, la senyoreta Ixiar, consideràvem que eren fonts de saviesa que enriquien el vostre imaginari.
100%. 100%.
També la coneixíem i sabíem que no us faria mal.
No, va ser brutal, aquestes classes ens explicava històries.
Jonàs, la balena...
Metàfores.
Totes aquestes metàfores, després, poden servir per expressar moltes coses.
Totalment. I per tocar llocs de la nostra ànima, jo per sentir-me entesa.
Despertar, com portes.
I si està desperta, per sentir-te entès, perquè hi ha un llenguatge que sí que està tocant aquestes profunditats i no estàs sola en les profunditats. Sí.
A veure, què més?
Molt bé. Llavors, també volia preguntar-te, per exemple, what is heaven for you? Or where will you go when you die? Where do you think you will go when you die?
La paraula cel també torna a ser una paraula com la paraula Déu, que em fa una mica d'angúnia, però bueno. El cel no està aquí, a dalt. El cel, és que em sembla que ni tan sols científicament el cel no és, el cel està aquí, som al cel. Aleshores, espero, quan jo mori, espero anar al cel, aniré al cel, potser aniré a parar a un acabat de néixer, aniré a una planteta, aniré a un gat, aniré a, jo què sé, a una pedra...
Da igual.
No, tal se val no, però em transformaré. Tornaré a formar part de la unitat i em dispersaré. I això és el cel. Tornaré.
Vale, o sigui, directe a una nova reencarnació.
O a moltes, no? Igual que el iaio, una part del iaio està en la iliora, una part del iaio està aquí a la meva pell, una part del iaio està en tu, una part del iaio... No sé com va això, però és segur que em disperso.
Realment, com a esperits, com a ànimes, estem molt més interconnectats del que pensem aquesta separació. Clar, no, jo et tinc a tu, no? O sigui, o com tu dius, tu tens el iaio a la pell, o... no? El que sigui. Clar, la realitat per mi està molt més interconnectada del que pensem, però sí que hi ha un focus d'energia única a cadascú, que per mi és l'ànima, i que aquest focus d'energia
com ens dirigeix, no? Cap a... farà que ens transformem en A i no en B.
Bueno, no, jo de fet no penso en una reencarnació directa,
Vale.
Jo per la meva experiència i també per la racionalització d'aquesta experiència i de més, sí que penso que anem a un món en esperit que no és material, que és un lloc de descans, és un lloc de coneixement, és un lloc despullar-nos de qualsevol encarnació i per tant conèixer una llibertat molt més profunda. I llavors aquí, o bé anar a diferents realms dins del món en esperit, segons el que hem fet, com hem sigut, com som, què volem, què no volem, o potser considerar tornar a reencarnar-nos en carn i ossos en aquest planeta o en una altra galàxia, el que sigui, tot i que
jo no estic tan segura d'una reencarnació física. Però no creu, amb el que tu has contestat, per mi una cosa no treu l'altra, que tu pots dispersar-te, en el sentit que estàs ja dispersa ara, perquè el teu amor ha arribat a moltes persones, de fet, no sabem fins on ha arribat. No? Tu fas un acte amb ell, jo faig perquè tu m'has fet aquest acte i jo faig una altra persona perquè ell t'ha fet.
Sí.
El teu amor, estem tots, no? Però a la vegada, això podria ser, des de la meva perspectiva, que la teva ànima, el centre d'ella, diguéssim, sí que vagi a algun lloc específic.
Clar, però si jo tinc la sensació que la meva ànima està en cada
Bueno, llavors et dispersaràs
en cada
això.
àtom.
Sí.
En cada àtom, la meva ànima està a tot arreu, tot així, tot.
Llavors el teu cos s'anirà podrint?
No es podrirà.
No es podrirà, no?
Perquè serà cendra.
Vale, però no, en podrint em referia més com a apagant, ens anem fent grans, el cos es va,
Sí.
no? Empansint, i llavors la teva ànima acabarà dispersada en tot allò que has tocat. Tu?
Tot allò que he tocat, després m'anirà, si no em cremessin anirà a la terra, es transformarà en.
Vale.
Tots els meus bitxitos que porto dintre sortiran fora, altres entraran, en el cas que m'enterressin.
Vale. Llavors, no...
Si decidís fer com en Xirinacs, o com moltes vegades diu, el nostre millor, no? Que morir quan em toqui allà a la muntanya i aleshores, de fet es fa en algunes cultures, aleshores que venguen els animals i aleshores em mengen, aleshores jo passo a un altre animal i aquest animal passa a un altre animal.
Vale, però en tot això...
De totes maneres, jo no sé, tot avui interrogant.
Vale, però en la teva percepció no hi ha la teva consciència de tu que es mantingui, ni tens un desig tampoc...
Que comença una altra cosa.
O sigui...
Comença una altra cosa.
La teva consciència o es dissipa o es desesparceix...
O es transforma...
Per mi, per exemple, ara estem en una percepció, com veiem per un forat, una cosa, que és la mateixa cosa, però que després s'obre i que si alguna es transforma en la nostra consciència és que s'expandeix en tant que sortim d'aquest mitjà a través del qual gràcies a ell podem experimentar i viure certes coses, però que a les portes de la percepció...
Ah, clar, això s'obrirà, clar.
S'obrirà.
Si hi ha una altra cosa, s'obre segur.
S'obre, no es tanca.
Sí, no, segur.
I per tant, si hi ha alguna cosa, hi ha més consciència que menys. Si ara tens una percepció...
Depèn del que sigui consciència.
Percepció.
Vale. Percepció conscient o...
Des d'un jo, des d'un centre, no? La percepció des d'un centre... Però bueno, té sentit perquè tu m'has dit que reencarnaràs en moltes coses.
Jo sento que passarà això, però potser...
Pues tu també, com la Sara m'ha contestat abans una cosa que no s'ha gravat, però per mi em sembla que el que descriviu és anar directes a una consciència d'unitat brutal, quasi no subjectiva, en el sentit de no única, sinó que hi ha quasi total, no? D'una consciència de jo soc tots els animals, jo soc tota la terra...
Però amb una consciència que és diferent de la consciència de la que parlem.
Sí, però que per mi és diferent aquest estat quasi pur de consciència, que jo diria que és la consciència d'unitat total, consciència de Déu, és aquesta cosa tan infinita, inconcebible des del nostre llenguatge i des de la nostra perspectiva ara. Per mi això està tan lluny d'imaginar, i a més jo he experimentat com graus entre mitjos, més tirant cap aquí, no? Jo crec que entre tots aquests mitjos hi ha una consciència única d'ànima, única, no? Com de tu ets l'Àngela, o no sé com es diu la teva ànima, o com li vols dir, perquè no té nom, no? Li poses tu si vols, però... Però ho que és interessant perquè la Sara en el fons m'ha contestat una cosa semblant, que és també anar directament a una... Ella ho ha explicat, amb una sensació d'amor i de calor.
He dit que no.
Però ho ha relacionat amb un comentari que he dit jo com d'un amor increïble,
Escalfor.
no? Un escalfor.
Una bola d'escalfor volant.
I que tu també parles d'una cosa com molt poc semblant a el que és aquí.
Però jo crec que, a més, que això també serà molt important el moment del traspàs. I que el moment del... A una persona musulmana fa un temps la vaig sentir dir que en el moment del traspàs l'infern és el de les persones que en el moment del traspàs no s'han reconciliat amb la seva vida ni amb el propi traspàs. I que això és l'infern.
Però llavors l'infern és abans.
Bueno. I que moren en l'infern. I aleshores, en el moment del traspàs, ara no sé, ara m'he perdut el fil. Si el traspàs es fa reconciliat, serà passat d'un cel a un cel.
D'un cel a un cel, mira, aquí queda clar també les nostres perspectives diferents. Per mi, l'infern és aquesta terra. No,
Però
però
el que he dit, que l'infern serà abans, si no s'han reconciliat.
per mi és abans i després. O sigui, hi ha la possibilitat per mi de que una ànima, segons... O sigui, que el que experimentem aquí és el que és el terra on després creixen altres coses i que, per tant, si hem actuat amb molt d'odi cap a altra gent, o això sí que té unes conseqüències, tal com que tires una pedra i l'aigua esquitxa, vull dir. Com que té una conseqüència, no des del judici, però jo sí que entenc i observo el món i les meves experiències més enllà del món extern, parlo d'aquesta manera, o sigui, hi ha una causa-conseqüència, una correspondència, i que no només en la transició, que sobretot jo crec que molta gent es pot quedar encallada amb una por al canvi, a deixar coses enrere, una identificació amb l'ego, o sigui, hi ha molta identificació amb aquesta imatge que un volgués aparentar, que aquí pot haver molt de dolor en deixar tot això i descobrir la seva naturalesa real, perquè pot fer molta por, perquè és molt més ample, és un mar molt més ample del que normalment la gent coneix i en la que camina normalment la gent, però que també, més enllà d'aquesta por, d'aquesta transició, hi ha un possible infern en el sentit que un es vegi amb el que un ha fet i amb el que un és, i un creixement a partir d'aquí. O sigui, no un infern infinit, sinó...
No, però qui no fa, serà
una part del món.
I si no hi ha traspàs? I si
Com?
és un...
Bueno, un moment. La lectura?
Si està componint a poc a poc, no sé quanta estona.
Pues, no,
L'he mirat, però no sé com es mira.
Tocant-la.
Sí, no està encara molt tova, una mica.
Vale.